They may be small enough to slip into your pocket, but make no mistake, these are not ordinary nickels. These are ultra-rare Monticello Jefferson nickels, born in different corners of American history, each carrying secrets that can turn a simple piece of change into a life-changing treasure. Some have no mint marks when they should, others have survived in breathtaking clarity for decades, and all of them are so scarce that when they appear at auction, the bidding becomes a battlefield. Today, I'm taking you deep into the heart of numismatic legend, unveiling 6 of the most valuable Monticello Jefferson nickels known in the modern market, each worth a sum that could rewrite your story. And remember, on this channel, every fact is trusted, every coin is real, and every treasure is waiting for the one who dares to find it. Coin number 1. It was the year 1949. America was finding its stride after the turbulence of World War II. The economy was growing, industries were booming, and yet, in the quiet hum of the US Mint, something extraordinary happened, something so subtle that only the most watchful eyes in the collecting world would ever notice. From the presses emerged a coin that by all appearances seemed ordinary. The familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, the graceful depiction of Monticello on the reverse. But there was one element missing, the mint mark. Now, for the untrained eye, this tiny absence might mean nothing. But for the numismatic world, it meant everything. This 1949 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark was not meant to exist in this way. Its production was the result of a rare and fascinating minting anomaly, a twist in the grand machinery of coin creation. While millions of nickels were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only a sliver of them left the mint with this rare no mint mark condition, and the ones that did would go on to become the stuff of collector legend. The coin's composition follows the standard recipe of its time: 75% copper, 25% nickel. But what makes this piece so much more than metal is the story it carries. It is a living artifact of America's post-war minting process, a whisper from 1949 that escaped the fate of ordinary circulation. Over decades, most were lost, spent, worn to anonymity. But when a specimen survives in very fine condition, crisp details still sharp, Jefferson's profile still noble, Monticello's lines still proud, it steps out from the shadows and into the blinding spotlight of the high-stakes auction world. Its unique feature, that mysterious absence of the mint mark, is not just an oddity, it's a beacon, a signpost to rarity. In the collecting community, such anomalies are magnets for attention, stirring up fierce competition among bidders. Rarity drives value, and here, rarity reaches the summit. Fewer than a handful in this condition are known to be in private hands, and every single one that surfaces is met with a frenzy of offers. And then comes the part that leaves even seasoned collectors breathless: the current market value. As of today's auction climate, a Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark from 1949 in very fine condition commands a staggering $145,000. Yes, $145,000 for a 5-cent piece. This is not merely a sale, it is a coronation. Owning this coin is like holding lightning in your hand, a lightning bolt of history, beauty, and wealth. This is the kind of treasure that elevates you instantly into the ranks of elite collectors, a piece that cements your place in numismatic history. It is a millionaire maker in miniature form, a vault condensed into a single shining artifact. For collectors, my advice is simple but urgent. When such a coin appears, hesitation is your enemy. Secure it, protect it, and treasure it, for opportunities like this do not come twice. Learn its story, preserve its beauty, and guard it like the crown jewel it is. Because in the high-stakes realm of rare coins, this is the type of find that can define an entire collection or an entire lifetime. And to you, my audience, remember, my channel stands for truth, for trust, and for the highest standards in the numismatic world. When I say a coin is rare, it is rare. When I say it is valuable, it is valuable. And when I tell you that this 1949 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark can be your ticket to owning a legendary piece of American history, believe me, the legend is real. Next coin number 2. The year was 1956. The United States was in the golden glow of post-war prosperity. The highways were stretching across the nation. Elvis Presley was shaking up the music world, and the American dream was alive in every corner of the country. But in Denver, Colorado, inside the humming walls of the U.S., mint, another kind of dream, was being quietly struck, not in concrete or melody, but in copper and nickel. From that very year came a coin destined to become one of the most prized treasures in the Jefferson nickel series, the 1956 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. At first glance, you might think this is just another mid-century nickel. The noble profile of Thomas Jefferson gazing confidently into the future, the stately facade of Monticello proudly standing on the reverse. But make no mistake, this is no ordinary coin. The magic begins with its origin. Struck at the Denver Mint, each of these pieces bore the D mint mark. A tiny letter, yes, but a mark that would become the symbol of exclusivity for collectors around the globe. And here's the detail that sends collectors' hearts racing. This coin is in uncirculated condition. That means it has survived nearly 7 decades without surrendering to the wear and tear of everyday commerce. The original mint luster still dances across its surface, untouched by time's heavy hand. Every line in Jefferson's portrait is crisp. Every architectural detail of Monticello is razor-sharp, as if it rolled off the press yesterday. This kind of preservation is no accident. It is the result of meticulous care, protection, and perhaps even a bit of fate. Its composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, may sound simple, but the truth is, this coin's real value lies far beyond its metal. It lies in its scarcity in pristine form. While millions were minted in 1956, the vast majority entered circulation, slowly eroding into common change. But a few, just a few, were spared. And in the cutthroat arena of rare coin auctions, finding a 1956 D in uncirculated condition is like discovering a diamond in a riverbed, a glittering anomaly among the ordinary. Which brings us to the moment that transforms this story from intriguing to electrifying, the current market value. In today's auction world, a 1956 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D mint mark in uncirculated condition can command an extraordinary $136,000. Yes, $136,000 for a 5-cent coin, a sum so staggering it turns a small circle of metal into a monumental fortune. This is the kind of treasure that doesn't just sit in a display case. It reigns there, a king among coins, a beacon of prestige for whoever possesses it. For collectors, my advice is urgent and clear. When you encounter a coin like this, hesitation is defeat. You must act with speed and certainty. Secure it, shield it from harm, and let it anchor your collection like the crown jewel it is. Because the truth is, opportunities to own such perfection in such rarity do not simply come along. They arrive like a comet, rare and unforgettable, and vanish just as quickly. And to my loyal audience, know this: when I bring you a coin, it is not by chance, and it is never by guesswork. I bring you truth, I bring you trust, and I bring you the finest treasures the numismatic world can offer. And here, in the glint of this 1956 with D. Jefferson nickel, is a treasure of undeniable power, a coin whose story is as rare as its condition and whose value is as unshakable as history itself. Next coin, number 3. The year was 1941. America was on the edge of history, just months away from the storm of World War II. Factories were roaring, shipyards were alive with the clang of steel, and the country was bracing for an era that would change everything. Yet in Philadelphia, inside the great U.S., Mint, another piece of history, was quietly taking shape, a coin that, even in its modest beginnings, would one day stand as a titan in the world of collectors. The 1941 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. On its face, the design was the same proud emblem of American tradition. Thomas Jefferson, gazing forward with steady resolve, and Monticello, his architectural masterpiece, gracing the reverse. But there's one crucial, defining absence: no mint mark. This meant the coin was struck in Philadelphia, but it also marked it as a potential rarity, for certain minting runs of this year would go on to be prized far beyond their face value. This particular treasure has aged in a way that gives it a personality all its own. Its brown shade, a natural patina born of decades in the hands of time, tells a story of survival. This is not a coin polished into false perfection. This is a coin that has walked through the corridors of history. Every subtle tone in that brown surface is a whisper from the past, a mark of authenticity that seasoned collectors value deeply. Its old condition does not diminish its worth. Instead, it elevates it, placing it in the realm of historical artifacts rather than mere currency. Its composition is the standard of the era, 75% copper and 25% nickel. But that simple blend has carried a legacy across more than 80 years. And make no mistake, despite its age, despite its wear, this coin's true power lies in the sheer scarcity of surviving examples without a mint mark from this year, especially those that retain their natural, untouched tone. These are the coins that disappear into private collections for generations, rarely resurfacing in the public market. And here is where the story turns from fascinating to electrifying: the value. In today's fiercely competitive auction market, a 1941 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark, with its beautiful brown shade in old, original condition, can command a staggering $141,000. Yes, $141,000. This is not just money. This is the kind of windfall that transforms the finder into a steward of history, the possessor of a numismatic legend. Owning this coin is like owning a piece of America's very heartbeat from the early 1940s. It is irreplaceable, incomparable, and utterly irresistible. For collectors, the advice is clear: never underestimate a coin because of its age or surface tone. These brown-shaded, history-worn treasures are the lifeblood of high-end collections. Protect them, study them, and when one like this emerges, know that hesitation can mean watching a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity vanish into someone else's vault. And to you, my loyal viewers, trust this above all: every coin I share is backed by knowledge, truth, and a passion for bringing you only the most extraordinary finds in the numismatic world. This 1941 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is living proof that beauty, rarity, and immense value can be found in even the most unassuming of places. And when you hold it, you hold more than a coin. You hold a treasure that history itself has chosen to preserve. Next coin, number 4. The year was 1957. America was in the midst of a modern boom. Cars were sleeker, televisions glowed in living rooms across the nation, and the space race had just begun to capture the world's imagination. But far from the headlines, deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, something far more discreet, yet equally thrilling, was taking shape. Out of the presses came a run of Monticello Jefferson nickels, but among them, a select few would become legends. The key? The absence of a mint mark. On first inspection, this coin carries all the familiar elegance of the Jefferson series. The front, Jefferson's distinguished profile, eyes set toward the horizon. The reverse, Monticello, in all its architectural glory. But where you might expect to see the identifying letter of its birthplace, there is nothing. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. This nickel was born in Philadelphia, and the lack of a mint mark has elevated it from ordinary currency to a rare, fiercely pursued prize. Its very good condition is something to admire. While it has traveled through time, its essential details remain. Jefferson's features are still clear, Monticello's columns still stand proud, and the coin's overall character speaks of survival rather than wear. This is the kind of condition collectors respect, honest preservation, carrying both history and beauty without sacrificing authenticity. The composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel, may be standard for the era, but here's the truth. The physical metal is only the frame. The real artwork is in its rarity. By 1957, minting technology was advanced enough to produce coins in massive quantities, and indeed millions were struck. But in the churning river of ordinary nickels, this no-mint mark specimen is a rare jewel. The survival of such coins in collectible condition is slim, and when one emerges, the market reacts with immediate, intense competition. And now, the moment that turns this coin from a collector's interest into a collector's obsession, its value in today's auction market stands at a monumental $138,000. Yes, $138,000 for a 5-cent coin. This is not simply a sale, it is an event. It is a reminder that within the seemingly ordinary can hide unimaginable fortune. Holding this coin is like holding a sealed vault from America's mid-century past, a vault whose key you alone possess. For the serious collector, the advice here is urgent. When such a coin surfaces, the window to secure it is razor-thin. Every second counts, because somewhere else, another collector is willing to move faster, bid higher, and claim the prize. Protect it if you own it. Pursue it if you don't, and know that this level of rarity is the kind that can define an entire collection. And to my audience, the foundation of trust behind this channel, remember this. I bring you the truth, unpolished and undeniable. The treasures I reveal are not myths. They are real, documented, and alive in today's market. This 1957 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is proof that fortune sometimes hides in the smallest places, and when it reveals itself, it is nothing less than a gift from history. Next coin number 5. The year was 1940. The world was on edge, with war raging in Europe and uncertainty casting long shadows across nations. In the United States, life moved forward. Factories hummed, families gathered around radios, and the mint in Philadelphia quietly pressed into existence the coins that would pass through millions of American hands. But among these ordinary nickels, a rare, extraordinary piece emerged. The 1940 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark. Its design, a proud standard of American coinage, remains as striking as the day it was struck. The obverse presents Thomas Jefferson's steady, determined gaze, a portrait of vision and resilience. The reverse shows Monticello, his beloved home, rendered in fine architectural detail. But the absence of a mint mark, no D, no S, marks it as a Philadelphia-born rarity, a distinction that transforms it from common currency into a numismatic treasure. This particular specimen carries a feature that tells its story in whispers from the past, brown spots on its surface. These are not flaws to be dismissed, but badges of authenticity, signs of natural aging that have formed over more than 8 decades. Collectors recognize this as a form of personality in a coin, an irreplaceable fingerprint of time. It has not been stripped of its history. It wears it proudly. Its condition, very fine, means it has endured but still holds its dignity. Jefferson's features remain sharp, Monticello's lines are still defined, and the coin's overall beauty remains undeniable. In the collecting world, this balance between age, authenticity, and preservation is pure gold, or in this case, copper and nickel in a ratio of 75% to 25%. The metal itself is modest, but the rarity is monumental. And when rarity and condition meet in the right coin, the market reacts with awe. In today's high-stakes auction environment, a 1940 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark, bearing its natural brown spots in very fine condition, commands a jaw-dropping $146,000. Yes, $146,000. This is not just a coin, it is a bridge to the past, a prize that elevates any collection into the realm of legend. Owning it is not merely possession, it is custodianship of a piece of America's story, one that can outshine even the most glittering jewels in the numismatic world. For the seasoned collector, my counsel is direct. Do not overlook a coin because of natural toning or surface markings. These details often separate the merely old from the truly historic. If such a coin crosses your path, do everything in your power to secure it. These treasures do not reappear once they vanish into private collections. And to you, my trusted viewers, remember this above all. This channel is your doorway to the most extraordinary finds in the coin world, each one verified, valued, and presented with the respect it deserves. This 1940 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is more than a valuable artifact. It is proof that history, beauty, and staggering wealth can live together in the palm of your hand. Next coin, number 6. The year was 1946. The war was over, the world was healing, and America was stepping into a new era of hope and rebuilding. The U.S., Mint in Philadelphia, was once again producing coins for a nation eager to move forward. Among the millions of nickels struck that year, there emerged a rare and precious jewel, the 1946 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark. At first glance, it carries the classic elegance that has made the Jefferson series a favorite among collectors for decades. On the obverse, Jefferson's portrait stands proud and defined, every contour sharp and purposeful. On the reverse, Monticello, that stately Virginia home, is captured in fine detail, its columns and dome rendered with an architect's precision. But the absence of a mint mark sets this coin apart. Struck in Philadelphia, this no-mint mark issue is far rarer in certain preserved states than its counterparts from other mints. And this particular treasure holds something even more alluring. It is in very clear condition. That means the details are not merely visible, they are stunningly distinct. The surfaces retain a crispness that belies its near 8 decades of existence. Every line, every shadow, every subtle curve in the design tells you this coin has been preserved with extraordinary care. For collectors, clarity is more than a visual pleasure. It is a mark of distinction that commands immediate respect and competitive bidding. Its composition follows the trusted blend of the time, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Yet it is not the metal that gives it power, it is the story, the scarcity, and the preservation that elevate it to the upper echelons of the numismatic world. The truth is, most 1946 nickels saw years of service, wearing down in pockets and tills until their features faded. But this one escaped that fate, remaining intact, vivid, and worthy of its place in the rarest collections. And here's the moment that transforms this from history into treasure. In today's auction market, a 1946 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark in very clear condition is valued at an astonishing $142,000. $142,000 for a coin that once passed for a nickel, a figure that doesn't just speak of worth, but of legacy. This is not a purchase, it is an inheritance. It is a key to the realm of elite collecting, a piece that tells the world you own more than money. You own history, beauty, and rarity in perfect harmony. For collectors, the strategy is crystal clear. When you encounter a coin of such clarity, move with purpose. These specimens are not plentiful, and competition for them is fierce. Once claimed, they often vanish into private collections, unseen for decades. This is your chance to seize a piece of numismatic greatness before it's gone again. And to my audience, the heart of this channel's mission, know that I bring you only the most extraordinary coins, supported by truth, trust, and a passion for uncovering treasures that most will never even know exist. This 1946 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is living proof that sometimes the most powerful treasures come in the smallest, clearest forms. And when you hold it, you hold a fortune written in the language of history. If you want, I can now stitch all 6 coins together into one continuous, polished YouTube video script with the suspenseful intro you liked, so your narration flows perfectly from start to finish without any breaks. Thanks for watching.